We want to explore some of the new ideas which are coming into the workspace, and seeing how improving people productivity can drive the company's bottom line. Just just opening up some thoughts to the panel, and really like you to kind of, I'm going to keep the questions fairly simple, and then ask you to share some of your thoughts and where you see the trends going, especially from a design, technology, and workplace experience point of view. So starting with Sanjay, from since 2009-10 post GFC, as really from a developer's point of view, how is kind of the change in requirements of the workspace impacting you, and how you planning your developments differently today?
Sure. Thank you. I want to first highlight that most of the world actually thought the 2008 and 9 global financial crisis was all about housing and real estate speculation and over-engineered financial products. I think it was a moment where most corporates realized that they were not running their businesses well, and they suddenly realized that they have excess capacities and fat and not so disciplined business. And therefore, it was kind of a reset button to the businesses the world over. And what we know was it was all driven by cost reduction, and which impacted everything. And the initial leg of this entire exercise by the corporate world was, how can I fit more people on the floor, pay less rent, less deposit, spend less, and drive more in terms of output of real estate? But suddenly they realized that it was not helping them achieve the end goal, and which was basically driving EBITDA or profit in the balance sheet. And that was not necessarily linked to real estate. We, as a real estate development company doing IT and SEZs, having built over 10 million square feet across the country last 2 decades, and now constructing another 11.5 million square feet, realized that we have to service about 100,000 employees in our existing parks by ensuring that there is a sense of engagement, work, play, live, not just come to office and do their job and go back. And also help corporates drive an environment where they can actually tangibly see productivity go up. And it was kind of a lot of engagement. I was sharing with one of my colleagues, one of the US corporations in our park does animation. And so a lot of new movies that you see is actually done out of Bangalore in a studio. And they are doing some world-class product that you see on the global screens today. And they are struggling to find growth for talent. They're not struggling to hire good people. And they're constantly coming to us and say, how can we engage with these people? We don't want to lose them because it has a huge impact on the productivity. So we started working on various concepts. And so we have transformed ourselves from a real estate development company to an organization which is catering to the needs of corporates and providing them solutions, and at the same time engaging with those workforce. And the workforce is very young and demanding in many ways. And I think given the attrition rate in the industry, it's very expensive. I was told by a corporate that the impact of cost is about 1.5 times of the salary, beside the cost of salary when you bring a new guy on board. And we've seen some very tangible results in terms of attrition coming down. So we run 40 events across the country in all our parks, which are engaging, very engaging, and we obviously profile it. So we actually do multiple across gender and across IQ levels within the parks, so that we appeal to all and not just to few smart, intelligent boys and girls in the parks. So it's been quite enlightening, and it's been very successful, and I think we will, going forward, invest more. This is still a work in progress. I don't think we've accomplished enough, but it's good to see the corporates coming forward and participating.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Sanjay. I mean, Mr. Abdullah, you're a architect by qualification and also an urban planner. Urban and regional planning is something you've specialized. So really from a design point of view, how are you seeing kind of the design philosophy change both for campuses, buildings, as well as office spaces?
Just to start, I mean, the brief of the design itself for any type of fit out or an office of any corporate differs from a space to another. I mean, an investment institution is totally different from the technical institutions, totally different from a small admin offices to a larger scale offices. For me as an architect, I always focus on the space itself, on the use itself, on the dimension. We all think about the density, but the density differs from one type to another type. From workstations for an admin office is totally different from a workstation for a technical office where they need a larger space, where they would like to have places where they can open their own drawing, they can have to draw their concept, draw their sketches. So the idea is to establish a proper brief before you start a design for any type of an office that you would like to develop. I have worked on several offices designs in the last few years, and it's all about open space, creating an environment for your employees to work on, because at the end, it's the place where they would like to work on. And if they are not happy, they will not achieve the result. They will not provide you with the best result that you are expecting from them. And maybe sometimes you don't need the closed offices. An open offices is the trend right now. The idea is how to develop that trend in the next coming few years. It's no longer about the shared meetings. It's no longer about this. How to make it a more productive in a corporate manner. I mean, we have seen a new trend in the market right now in the architecture industry where we have a standing meeting rooms. And why is a standing meeting rooms? To allow people to have a quicker meetings with a productive results. And that is the trend that we can see it as an example. I'm just sharing with you as an example how we see the development of an interior space design in terms of architecture can provide us a better result with saving the cost on the developers or the institution, while at the same time creating a welcoming environment for the employees as well.
Great. No, thanks. I mean, just taking off from some of the thoughts you shared, I mean, Santa, I mean, from, you're an architect as well, and you've done a lot of designs across. What are your thoughts? And, just to kind of add a little flavor and spice to the conversation, I thought, in terms of the whole perception that open plan is the right plan is kind of also changing. Because what we're starting to see is corporates realize that, you rightly pointed out, it depends on the kind of work and staff you have in the office. So how are you helping clients determine in terms of what's the right mix? And, like Architect Abdullah said, that in terms of really, the brief is really critical to kind of getting this right.
Okay, you can hear the voices?
I think you can.
You can hear. And I'm scrolling it up.
Yeah.
Okay. So the most important thing in any office space design is to understand that people are going to spend more time in office working than they ever spend at home. So in any office design that you do, it's very important to take care of a person's holistical development. It's not only how they work, it's how they collaborate with their colleagues, it's how they grow, it's how they ideate. It's also to give them a little bit of privacy. So the brief, as you said, how we, whether open offices are redundant and are they moving somewhere else, Office space has always been in a kind of experimentation. People do like evolving, and yes, it is very important to know the kind of business a client is doing to suggest to them the right kind of a workspace, whether it is only cabins or whether it is workstations or whether it is a lot of collaborative spaces. So it's important to understand first what the client does. Also, a brief from the client is very, very important. Many a times the clients come to us and tell us, we have a very high attrition rate and how can design solve that? Or how can we get the right talent in? And that is where we think that good office space or workplace design plays a very important part. First, the message that you convey to the employees who are going to walk in through your 3D branding or through your office design is the most important message that you send out. So hopefully you will get the right talent in. In terms of controlling attrition rates, people who are joining, the millennials or the younger generation, they are also very aspirational. We encounter a lot of people saying we want a Google kind of an office. So people want a very cool office where they can go, where they can do very good work. They can also interact, they can grow as people. So creating the right kind of environment, to help the client solve whether it is an attrition problem or getting the right kind of a talent is, or sending out a very good message in the market as to what kind of a company they are, giving them the right spaces for collaboration is all that encompasses in a good workspace design.
Sure. No, great. And but with everything great comes a cost, right? In terms of, at the same time, most corporates are looking to bring down the amount of money they're spending on real estate, whether it's operations, design, capex, and they want the best, but they're not willing to spend.
Yes.
And I'm going to ask Mr. Rao to kind of, who has some experience in this in terms of where he actually does a lot of office furniture, manufacturing, etc. And how are you managing that kind of balance? Because they come up with great designs, which are going to cost a lot of money, and then you need to supply that at very low cost. So how are you managing that part of it?
Yeah, actually the workstations, you're able to hear me?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
See, the workstations concept came in almost in 1980 in India. Till 1990, it was very difficult for us to explain what is a workstation, what it can do. Very few companies like Godrej introduced the workstations in 80s, early 80s. So 2000 onwards, it has started picking up the things. The software, because of the software boom, the floor areas are bigger. After that, the back offices like the call centers or India Bulka, so back office, then the Prosian, the Infosys back office. That's all taking the several floors. One single office having 2,000 workstations, 2,500 workstations was unknown in 80s. It started only after 2000. Now the workstation everybody knows, like even the housewife knows what is a workstation now. Now coming to the price, I mean, as you rightly asked earlier, before 2009 and 10, the financial crunch, before and after, if you see, earlier also people were spending, but there was a lot of constraints. That time also people were negotiating, there are budget constraints. After 2009 and 10, people are very cautious about the investment. Especially a lot of, like if you see the end user, they don't mind spending more, but they don't want to invest. They don't want to lock their money. They don't want to put in the capital. The startups. So people realize to invest or spend money only in their core business. So it is not no more an asset. See, for example, now the new trends I have been seeing in last few months or few years. The trend is like plug and play. The youngster started a company. He doesn't have big infrastructure. He is not looking for even renting an office. He just wants a office, ready-made office, and a few workstations. He may require only 5-10 people. Then recently we are doing an office we are creating about 350 workstations. There are rooms of, each room is having about 15 to 20 people sitting in that room. And for the ratio is for every 10 people or 8 people, there will be one cabin. This is the approximate ratio. And there will be a lot of common areas like the coffee bars and then entertainment places like TV room and the waiting areas, and then there will be some the meeting rooms and collaborative rooms, conference rooms and all. People can book as and when it is free. Now, even if you want one workstation, you can hire there. That is the concept they are generating. Earlier, some people attempted this, but they were looking for only business areas. Like if you have come from Calcutta, you want to take interviews in Bombay, you will hire a place, probably some few workstations and the conference hall. That will be very expensive, but this is a very economical solution. So I'm sure this trend will increase in future because the affordability is very important, especially for the startups and the youngsters. And people, even if they have money, they don't want to invest they don't want to lock their capital. This is one thing. And secondly, the challenges what we are seeing, which was not there earlier, is amenities. People are giving a lot of amenities to retain the talent of the employees. You can have yoga room in the office, you can have a gymnasium, you can have a coffee boy, you can have meditation room, playing, caroms, and everything is they are creating. Now, in future, maybe there will be a babysitting and all these things, I can foresee down the line. So then the challenge is, how do you balance the family and office? Because office is better than home. But it's not good in the long term. So what are the healthy practices? These are all the challenges, And when it comes to, as a manufacturer, I am manufacturing the workstations. We have different challenges. When you ask, I will tell you, because the turnaround time is getting squeezed. We are not getting any chance to design or, what we are doing, just editing. Just some ready-made thing is there, just change the color and, even the architects, they don't give time, or even the end user, they don't have time. So because the real estate cost is more. Anyway, I will come back to you when you ask the appropriate.
No, thanks. So, Ashish, you have the difficult job of kind of advising clients and